Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, the 30th of July. I want to talk about Gnosticism one more time. I want to talk about heresy. And I want to talk about why I absolutely reject the teaching of the trap, that reincarnation is a trap. I was made aware, I was sent a link to a video where one Gnostic belief was talked about in detail, and I absolutely reject that belief or that version of what might be happening. So let's talk about heresy first, because that only came to me, or I only was made aware of that a few days ago, what the word heresy actually means. It is coming from an old Greek word, and heresy means to choose for yourself. That is what the word means. It is making a choice for yourself. It took on a different meaning, or a negative meaning, wherever Christianity made laws against heresy. That means they made laws against making your own choice, having a choice for yourself, by elevating their belief, their version of what is happening in this world as the only truth. Yeah. And then outlawed any other choice. The Gnostic belief was actually not one religion. Again, not one doctrine. There was choice. There were different schools, again, mystery schools of thought. And people had a choice which school to join. That was taken away. Choice was taken away, personal choice. Gnosis, knowledge for yourself, the right to know for yourself, all of that was taken away. But what is happening at the moment is that one Gnostic perspective is being, first of all, being taught as the Gnostic knowledge, which it wasn't. And again, it is being turned into doctrine. The trap is being turned into doctrine. Knowledge that was brought to us by enlightened people, and we must follow that. And, well, I suppose we could come to a point where everything else is heresy. Once you are in a belief and you hold that belief strongly, you might go up against a heretic, which means you go up against somebody who chooses to believe something else. So we might go around that same circle again if this actually works the way it seems to be working at the moment. So this video I watched, and it was the Gnostic view of the trap, reincarnation as a trap. Whereas there were other Gnostic schools that very much said that this is a school for the soul. This is where you become aware of yourself and of others, and where you learn what it is you actually are, which that particular Gnostic school of thought rejected as a trap, saying it was a trap. So I want to go through this video and really tell you my heresy, what I saw in it, in this account of the afterlife. And why they say we've forgotten who we are, which we haven't. We know exactly who we are. We don't know what we were before. Let's say the person that we were before. But we know our likes, our dislikes. We know others. We have knowledge of others. And that is who we are. That knowledge is who we are. We just need to be aware of what it is we know, which is the knowledge that has been taken away from us. And in this trap life review, it actually shows how that knowledge, how you're being diverted from gnosis, from the knowledge of yourself. So in the video, and that is, I would say is true, many talk about the life review, the first thing that happens, where you see what happened in your life more clearly, or very clearly. It becomes clear. You see yourself, you see the perspective of others, how they felt about what you were doing. Right, that is the first thing. Then the next step in that Gnostic belief is that there are other traps, like the family, where you see family members, or you see beings of light that come to help you, or you then start going through the iconic gates, where they strip your light, and in the end, you sit down with them and they're giving you a plan for your next incarnation. Right. As below, so above, I would say. Because the exact same things are happening to you in life. The first knowledge, the life review, where things are clear to yourself. You can be in that state in life. Absolutely, you can. If you are awake, if you are aware of what is happening. Empathy would be another layer of awareness of how other people view what is happening at the moment. You're aware of your own feelings, and that is the knowledge of yourself. That is the knowledge of yourself. You are aware of what you think and how you feel about a thing. If you're an empath, you very clearly know about how other people around you feel about this. Even if you don't have empathy. You see, that is the thing about being in the solid body. It makes the invisible visible. You should see how other people feel about what it is you're doing, especially if you're causing hurt. You can see it in their face. You can see it in their tears. You can see it in the way their body is behaving. You can hear it in their voice. You can hear it in their words. So to have a life review at the end, you're actually in a life review during your entire life. You should be aware of it when it happens and make corrections to yourself, to your own behavior, to your, to what it is you're doing whilst you are in life through awareness of yourself and of others' knowledge of what it is you are and what it is you're in and what it is you're doing. So then the only thing the life review shows you in the end is things you should have seen whilst you were there. things you should have been aware of whilst it was happening. I know the body is not preventing you from seeing that or knowing that at all. If anything, it adds another layer of knowledge, which is the visible. Because the feelings themselves are not visible, but it makes it visible. So it should have actually made things clearer, not hide them. So then the other, what that teaching calls traps, and that is not going by your own knowing, but you seek the advice of others. It's what you do in life. You're unsure. You shouldn't be unsure. You should maybe trust in your own knowing to become an I am, to be something that knows itself. But you don't. Okay. You seek the advice of others, friends, family. You go to the enlightened ones, the beings of light, those that call themselves enlightened ones in this world. Again, the same thing is happening in this world, no different. Only here it has form. Here the enlightened ones run around in, I don't know, orange robes or something and chant and claim themselves to have the only knowledge, the way to enlightenment. Enlightenment had probably already happened, you knew. You just move away from that. You move away from the light of your own knowing to ask the ascended masters, whatever. In life. You do it in life. And if you don't find, you're seeking, you do not find a place which you would call home, where you're comfortable with what is being said or what's been done. And here is the institutionalized structure, the gates, the iconic gates, the iconic structure, which exists in this world. It's the official church, any official church, any official belief, where you finally go through the indoctrination, which will strip away your own light completely. Yeah? Where they will take away your knowledge of yourself completely, brainwash you. Until you come through the gates, sit down with them, and they tell you what you are and what you should be doing. It happens here. People like the Inspire channel just recently talked about this, saying, and we must know what to say or what to do to not go through those gates. Know yourself. Stand firm in the knowledge of yourself. You know, you get these mystical, I think one of the texts in Nakamadi that tells you what to say when you come to those gates, so that the archons don't have power over you. You know, we must learn these things for the afterlife. No, know it whilst you are alive. I give you a mystical formula. Tell them to piss off and mind their own business. And you are not their business, unless you make yourself their business. You give them power over you. They are the rulers. They are the powerful beings only if you give them that power. So anyway, even in a church now, you are being formed. You are the man of clay. You are being formed by their doctrine. Your light, your knowledge is being stripped from you. You have to suppress it. You have to beat it down. You can't go by your own knowing. In fact, your own knowing is heresy. There the word heresy comes up again. Your own knowing is heresy. You need to conform. You need to be formed by their belief and become that, a Christian of a particular church. They're not all the same. And again, then they send you out into the world as their servants. And to be quite honest, we are looking at this world, in this world now, and I think we've all seen the truth. Most of us have seen the truth. And that is what they indoctrinate you into doing, saying, believing, does not serve you. It serves them. Yeah, they might be there with open arms telling you they love you and they want to help you and they want to teach you things that will be beneficial to you, and they're not. The churches get richer. The churches get more powerful. The rulers become more powerful through their servants. But again, that is happening in life. So if you do not have the surety of knowing yourself, knowing your own truth, those are the ones that the archons are looking for here in life, and as below so above. And then you go through the review above and you go below and you do the same, and you're in the same cycle because you have not found yourself. You have not found your own truth. You have not stood in your own truth. You're being formed by the opinion of others. Family, the enlightened ones, the ascended masters, the archons. Now, the one thing that I absolutely, I actually got my back up, was again the first part of this, the live review. Well, they said, well, as I said, now, yes, it seems they would show you what happened in your life, make it more clear, something that should have been, to my mind, should have been clear when it was happening. But you did not act on the truth, on your truth. Maybe because you already were in a chronic system that told you to do something else. And you suppressed your own truth and did according to what you were indoctrinated into. But still, yeah, this idea of the trap. They said, you see these things and then it creates in the person a desire to return and to do something about it, to create change. Maybe the karmic idea, to make good what you've done wrong. And they said it is especially for people with compassion and with empathy. The trap really works on them. And I was sitting here thinking, what are you saying? That empathy and compassion is a trap? That the knowledge, when it really comes to you, that you have hurt yourself and others, that is a delusion? That is a falsehood? No, that is your truth. You're enlightened to your own truth. And the desire to return is your truth. For myself, I do not view reincarnation as a trap, but I do go with the other Gnostic idea that this is a school, that this is a place where you find yourself, where you know yourself, where you know others, where you learn to function in a web of life, of existence. And the desire to do so, how is that a trap? How is that something bad? They make it out to be something bad. Self-improvement is something bad. It's a trap. But I mean, that can only come from the idea that you're perfect already. Yeah? As I said, there's two ways by which you can stop people from finding themselves, from improving themselves, from becoming beings of light. Beings that use their energy in a good and in a benevolent way. Two ways you can stop a person from doing that. One is to tell them from the start they can't. Yeah? You are not that sort of a being. You need others to do it for you. That is the iconic trap, that is the trap of the rulers that tell you can't do it for yourself. You need somebody else to tell you what to do. The other way you can stop somebody from improving themselves or knowing themselves is by telling them they know it all already. They have nothing to learn. And I tell you, I've met them in this life, those that think that know everything. You can't teach them. You absolutely cannot teach them. Their cup is full and you cannot fill it. But again, the evidence in this lifetime, you're behaving like a complete idiot. How do you proclaim yourself to be a being of complete light, enlightened to truth, when the evidence all around you is showing you something very different? Oh, that's just the fault of the body. I'm a being of light and somebody clapped me in carbon and I turned into an idiot. My light is just not coming out. You're using your energies all the time and you're creating outcomes. So you're not using your energies in an enlightened way. That is what this life is showing you. This is what the life review afterwards has shown you. And the desire to correct that, to me, is not a trap. How is that a trap? Of course, you need to know what it is you're actually supposed to correct. And that is yourself. You've seen the truth of yourself. If not in life, then afterlife. And you should correct yourself. See yourself and correct yourself. But yes, I agree with that it is those that are unsure of themselves. Maybe because we've been indoctrinated again for 2,000 years that we do not know, that we cannot know, that we need to be saved by something outside of ourselves. Again, you made that your truth in life. And then you walk through your iconic gates in death. And then you come back into life doing the same bloody thing all over again. So the unsurety of yourself makes you food, makes you a victim, makes you their target, because they can see that. They can see your unsurety and they will use it. There's a man of clay. There's a person that is not formed, that can be then formed by our doctrine, made a servant to our agenda in life and death. So to me, for me, my heresy, the very first true life review is your truth shown to you. If you move away from that to family, to the enlightened ones, to the archons, the institutional system, then you're moving away from the point of truth that is within you, the light of self that is within you. You stay on that point. You return to strengthen that point. And as I said, see it in life. You are not separated from your truth whilst you are in life. You're experiencing it in a very, very solid way. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. It. I mean, again, this idea, those Gnostic teachings, and there are other Gnostic teachings which, well, I might just talk about this now because, again, it is the idea that the archons have created this world, that the archons have created your body and trapped your soul in this body. Now, that is based on a text in the Nag Hammadi scriptures where the person describes the building of the bodies by the archons. And one brings the legs and one brings the arms and the other one forms this part of the body and the other one forms that part of the body. And they are, sorry, they're kind of putting it together in a Frankenstein manner. To me, that part alone sounds like a child's idea about how a body is constructed. You know, the angels or the demons are coming and they're putting it together like Lego bricks. That is oversimplified to a point of becoming absurd. If you have real knowledge of the integrate workings within the body, all the details, and a body is an amazing machine. And how on earth would you now, as an intelligent person with knowledge, actually subscribe to that version? Again, they must have really stripped away some of your light for you to accept that as truth. But there again is where one belief that elevates itself to be the only one strips away your light and insists that you accept something as truth that is actually absurd. If you have real knowledge about what's, you know, some real knowledge of biology, that story is absurd. There are choices. And yes, you should absolutely be a heretic. Choose for yourself. Yeah? Do not be unsure, being blown by this wind or the other, being drawn into this story or the other, having to accept one story or another as the fullness of the truth. Even if there's already knowledge inside of you that speaks against it, then you have to suppress that knowledge. Don't do that. Stand in your own truth. Stand in what you know. Become aware of what it is you actually know. Be aware of what you know from your experience in this life, because it has been teaching you an awful lot. Truth that you can see and know because you have experienced it. That's proof. Experience is proof. But as I said, especially at the moment, that one, again, it's just one Gnostic version, is being pushed. And to me, that is one of the most ignorant versions there was. One of the least enlightened ideas about what might be happening. But that is being pushed like mad by everybody. The trap. The archons that build the body. The archons that created this world. Now, yes, the institutions, the iconic institutions, have created a lot of this world. Yes, human world, not animal world, not the rest of nature. It functions on a completely different idea. But it has created followers, believers, people that function within that system. There's a very easy way out of that. Repentance. Change your mind. Change your mind about what it is you believe, and their institutions will crumble. And as below, so above. See your truth in the life review that you should have seen now, and go by your own knowing. Become a self of self-determination. How do you not go through the iconic traps? As I said, tell them to piss off. Walk away. You have no power over me. Who appointed you to be my judge? Who appointed you to create my next life? I haven't. And if you don't give them the power, they don't have it. Anyway, here, as I said, be a heretic. Go by your own knowing. Become aware of what it is you actually know. Become aware of self, how you feel. If you are an empath, you know others. You feel it. They're part of you. That is not a trap. That is the web of existence. Become aware of it and yourself in it. And you don't have to die to do that. You can do it now. And do it. Go into gnosis. See yourself. Anyway, here, I leave it at that for today. And I talk to you again soon. Bye.